In the northern wilderness of Burkina Faso, where the desert bleeds into the horizon and the wind carries stories older than memory, lies a place called Essakane. From above, it looks like a scar, a vast wound carved into the earth. But to the people who live around it, it is more than a mine. It is a heartbeat, a promise, and a warning. They say gold built kingdoms, toppled empires, and drove men to madness. Yet in Esakane, gold does something quieter. It survives. It hides. Beneath the sand, deep and stubborn as if guarding its secrets from the world. When IAMGOLD first arrived here in 2008, the desert seemed empty, barren, endless. Few believed anything valuable could be buried under this unforgiving land. But when the drills hit the first veins, everything changed. Overnight, Essakane transformed from silence to thunder. Machines rolled in by the dozens. Camps rose out of nowhere. Roads cut across dunes that had stood untouched for centuries. By 2010, the mine was alive. The largest industrial gold operation in Burkina Faso's history. At its peak, it produced over 400,000 ounces of gold a year, nearly 1/3 of the country's entire output. But numbers alone can't tell the story. For every ounce of gold that left the ground, there was a hand that dug for it, a back that bent beneath the sun, a life that shifted in its shadow. In the nearby village of Gorom, people still remember the early days, the sound of engines at dawn, the flood of strangers speaking languages they didn't understand. Some came from Ouagadougou, others from Mali, Niger, even as far as Ghana, all chasing the same dream, to turn dust into destiny. But dreams in Esakane are heavy. The temperature can soar past 45 degrees Celsius. Water is scarce. Sandstorms sweep through the camps without warning. Every grain of dust carries gold but also risk. Accidents happen, machines fail. Yet the work never stops, because gold does not wait. Inside the open pit, the world feels inverted. The air is thick with diesel and the echo of explosions. Trucks, the size of houses, crawl up spiraling roads, hauling stone that glitters faintly in the light. It's mesmerizing, brutal and beautiful all at once. Above ground, engineers track every movement through screens. Below, miners follow the rhythm of drills that beat like mechanical hearts. And still beyond the fences, the desert watches in silence. Not far from the mine's edge, herders guide their goats through the dry plains. Their ancestors once roamed, freely here, following water and wind. Now they weave their paths between mounds of tailings and restricted zones. To some, the mine brought opportunity, jobs, electricity, schools. To others, it brought displacement. When Essakane expanded, hundreds of families were moved. IAMGOLD called it resettlement. For those who lost their land, it felt more like exile. The company built new homes and promised compensation, but the desert doesn't trade easily. The old lands, the ancestral graves, the fields where millet once grew, they cannot be replaced by cement walls or paper agreements. Yet life goes on. The markets near the mine buzz with activity. Young men sell phone cards, women sell roasted corn and tea. In the evenings, lights from the camp shimmer in the distance, a man-made constellation over the dunes. For the first time, some villages have clinics and paved roads. For the first time, money flows here. But so does dependency. When gold prices drop, so do hopes. Esakane stands as both miracle and warning, proof of what ambition can achieve and what it can destroy. Every day, the mine grows deeper, the pit wider. Each blast sends echoes across the Sahel, bouncing off the dunes like thunder. The desert swallows the sound, but it remembers. The people, too, remember the first paycheck, the first accident, the first time they saw the earth bleed gold. In this vast emptiness, surrounded by dust and fire, the line between survival and sacrifice blurs. For the world beyond, Essakane is a source of wealth. For those who call it home, it's a reminder that the price of gold is never measured in dollars, but in the lives it touches and the land it consumes. As the sun sets over the horizon, painting the dunes in molten light, The mine glows like a furnace. The engines quiet down, the workers return to camp, and the wind reclaims the silence. But beneath that stillness lies a truth as old as humanity itself, that everything we take from the earth demands something in return. And in Essakane, that debt is still being paid. The night in Essakane is unlike anywhere else. The stars burn, bright above the desert, scattered like fragments of the very gold hidden beneath the soil. The air cools, the machines rest, and for a few hours, silence returns. But it's a silence that hums with exhaustion, the quiet breath of a place that never truly sleeps. By dawn, the horizon glows red again. The workers rise before the first light, their faces washed in the faint glow of headlamps. In the mess hall, coffee steams in tin cups. Conversations are short, about safety checks, weather reports, and the long day ahead. By 6, the engines roar back to life, and the ground begins to tremble once more. From above, the Essakane pit looks like a spiraling maze. Every layer of earth tells a different story. Thousands of years of geological history stripped away to reveal a hidden fortune. Trucks crawl up and down its ramps in endless motion, like veins carrying the lifeblood of industry. Each day, thousands of tons of rock are removed. Only a fraction of that becomes gold. The process is meticulous, almost ritualistic. Ore is crushed into fine dust, then bathed in cyanide to separate the gold from the worthless stone. It's dangerous, toxic, and yet necessary. What emerges at the end is more than a metal. It's the world's oldest obsession. IAMGOLD, the company that runs Essakane, often speaks of innovation and sustainability. Solar panels now cover part of the desert, providing nearly 15 megawatts of power, one of the largest hybrid energy projects in Africa. To the outside world, it's a symbol of progress, proof that mining and environmental care can coexist. But on the ground, progress feels different. For the people living near the mine, life is a balance between gratitude and grief. Some find steady work for the first time in generations. Others watch their wells dry up as groundwater is redirected for industrial use. The gold flows outward, to Canada, to Europe, to international investors, while the people here measure their gain not in wealth, but in survival. In the nearby settlement of Falaguntu, an old woman named Acha sits outside her clay house, her eyes tracing the dusty horizon. Her family once farmed millet here before the soil grew too dry. Her sons now work at the mine. The gold gives and the gold takes, she says softly. It feeds us, but it changes everything. And she's right. In less than 2 decades, Burkina Faso has risen to become one of Africa's top gold producers. Mining now accounts for nearly 70% of the country's export earnings. Yet the wealth is uneven, centralized, distant, almost abstract. In villages like Esakane, people still live with scarcity, even as the earth beneath them overflows with riches. But the challenges aren't just economic. Security has become a constant shadow. Since 2015, Burkina Faso has faced waves of armed attacks from insurgent groups spreading across the Sahel. Mines, symbols of wealth and foreign presence, have become high-value targets. Workers travel in convoys guarded by armed escorts. Watchtowers stand tall at the mine's perimeter, and the hum of drones sometimes replaces the sound of birds. For many, fear has become part of daily life. Yet even fear cannot stop the rhythm of the mine. The gold must move. The world demands it. The paradox of Essakane lies in this. It sustains thousands, but belongs to few. The workers labor with pride, but most will never see the gold they produce. It's melted down, purified, and sent across oceans, losing its identity in the global system. A ring in Paris, a circuit board in California, a bar locked away in a Swiss vault, all may carry traces of this desert, yet none will tell its story. Still, amidst all this, moments of humanity shine through. At sunset, children play soccer on the sand outside the workers' quarters. Laughter cuts through the noise. Women carry water, men share cigarettes and stories. Life persists, stubborn, unbroken, luminous. For them, Essakane is more than a mine. It's a strange kind of destiny, a place that both takes and gives, wounds and heals. And somewhere deep inside, perhaps they all understand the truth. That gold was never really the goal. It was the journey, the endurance, the proof that even in the harshest lands, people can build something extraordinary. As night falls again over the desert, the lights of the mine burn like stars on the ground. Each one marks a human dream, fragile but alive. Somewhere beneath those lights, the earth sleeps uneasily, knowing that tomorrow it will be woken once more. The desert around Esakane holds its breath. Each morning the horizon glows gold long before the first rays reach the mine. The air is still, heavy with dust and heat, as if the land itself waits for what is coming. The thunder of engines, the crack of explosives, the endless hunger of man for what lies below. Inside the pit, workers descend in shifts, their helmets glinting under the rising sun. Every move is measured, every blast calculated. A single mistake can mean disaster. To outsiders, this is just mining. But to those who live it, every day feels like a battle. Between machine and mountain, ambition and exhaustion. The deeper they go, the more the desert changes. The colors shift from pale brown to burnt red, then to black stone streaked with gold. It's as if the earth hides its treasures behind layers of resistance. And still the miners press on. They say once you've seen raw gold in the light, its glow like captured fire. It never leaves your mind. In the control rooms above, engineers monitor screens filled with data, tonnage, pressure, energy output. Each figure tells the story of profit, but not of the people. There are no numbers for fatigue, for longing, for the sound of a man's breath as he wipes the sand from his face and keeps working because he has no other choice. Essakane's success has drawn attention from far beyond Burkina Faso. Governments praise its output. Investors celebrate its efficiency. But on the edge of the mine, near what was once the old village of Essakane, the mood is different. The original settlement, now mostly deserted, stands as a ghost of what used to be, a place where children once played and herders once brought their cattle to drink. When IAMGOLD began construction, more than 2,000 people were relocated to make way for the expanding operation. Official reports call it resettlement. But for those who lived through it, it felt like losing a part of themselves. They were promised new homes, new schools, new wells. Some of that came true, but others still wait for compensation, for fairness, for acknowledgement. A man named Idrissa, who once farmed millet near the old riverbed, now works as a security guard. He says he still dreams of his fields, of the smell of rain on dry earth. I traded my land for a uniform, he says, looking toward the distant glow of the mine. They told us it was progress. Maybe they're right, but sometimes progress feels like forgetting. His words echo what many here feel. Essakane is both miracle and burden, a symbol of national pride and a reminder of what it cost. The mine has brought schools, clinics, and jobs, but it has also brought division. Some villages prosper near the gates, others remain invisible, waiting for promises to reach them. Still, no one can deny the transformation. Where once there was emptiness, there is now power. Electricity hums through solar grids, trucks move in endless convoys, and planes occasionally land on the private airstrip, bringing in foreign managers and specialists. The desert has become global, a piece of the world's economy carved into African soil. But not all changes can be seen. Some are felt in the rhythm of life, in the weight of silence that follows every blast. People speak of the land differently now. It is no longer sacred ground, but territory. Surveyed, measured, controlled. The connection between man and earth, once simple and spiritual, now feels like a contract written in dust. And yet hope persists. In the evenings, music drifts from the workers' quarters. Guitars, drums, laughter. For a few hours, the weight of the day fades. They dance on the sand that once buried their ancestors' footprints. They sing songs of endurance, of love, of gold. Because in a place like Essakane, joy isn't given. It's made stubbornly by those who refuse to be consumed by the desert. As the mine expands deeper each year, rumors spread that new deposits have been found, that the gold runs further north, that one day, even the sands beyond the current pit may yield treasure. It's both promise and threat. The future of Essakane lies not only in how much gold it holds, but in how long the people around it can endure the consequences of extracting it. For now, the machines continue, and the desert listens. The hum of industry has replaced the song of wind, but beneath the noise, the old earth remembers. Every grain of dust disturbed, every drop of water taken, every voice silenced in the name of progress. Because gold never truly belongs to those who mine it. It belongs to time, and time in the desert is patient. The wind returns before dawn, carrying the desert's whisper across the empty plains of Udalan. It moves through the fences of the mine, over the silent machines, and past the small villages scattered beyond its glow. The people wake before the sun, not to birdsong, but to the distant growl of engines. It's the rhythm of Essakane, the heartbeat of a nation built on gold. For years, this mine has defined more than an economy. It has shaped the very identity of Burkina Faso, a country once known for cotton and cattle, now reborn through the veins of its earth. Since production began in 2010, Essakane has yielded millions of ounces of gold, drawing foreign investment, political attention, and the hope of prosperity. To many, it is proof that even the most barren land can bloom with opportunity. But to others, it is a reminder that every promise made by progress comes with a price. Burkina Faso's gold rush has lifted its GDP, but not its people equally. The cities grow richer, but the villages near the mines still wait for the trickle-down of wealth. For the miners who risk their lives daily, the reward is survival, not luxury. The gold they extract travels far, melted into bars, shipped through Dakar's ports, and eventually disappearing into the invisible network of global trade. Few who wear it know where it came from. Even fewer know what it cost. Yet, for those who live beside the mine, the cost is visible. Water tables have dropped. Dust clouds rise with every detonation. The horizon glows not with stars, but with the artificial light of progress. The once quiet desert is now a stage where nature and industry wrestle for dominance. And while IAMGOLD continues to promote community programs, reforestation efforts, and hybrid power systems, no initiative can fully replace what the desert has lost: its silence, its purity, its balance. Still, hope persists here, stubborn as the thorn bush that grows even in the driest ground. Schools funded by mining taxes now stand where none existed before. Children learn by solar light. Clinics treat illnesses that once went unhealed. Women's cooperatives thrive in new trade markets that grew around the mine. It's not perfection, but progress, fragile, uneven, yet undeniably real. There's a strange beauty in this contradiction. Essakane stands as both wound and wonder, a symbol of what humanity can build and what it's willing to break to build it. The mine has become a city of its own, a place where people from dozens of regions and tribes work side by side, united. Not by heritage, but by necessity. Each face tells a story of risk, endurance, and an unspoken belief that something better lies ahead. But outside the fences, the uncertainty grows. The Sahel region is unstable. Armed groups roam the borders, turning gold into fuel for conflict. In recent years, mines across Burkina Faso have faced threats and attacks. Essakane, heavily fortified, stands on alert, its security presence as constant as the heat. Every shipment, every convoy, every worker who travels the long desert road to the site does so under the weight of vigilance. In this fragile peace, every sunrise feels earned. And yet the people endure. Because what choice do they have? For many, the mine is life, the only source of income, the only connection to a larger world. For others, it's a reminder of what was lost, of the simplicity that vanished when The first drills struck the ground. When the night falls, the desert returns to stillness. The machines grow quiet. The wind softens and the stars reclaim the sky. From a distance, the mine's floodlights shimmer like an oasis, a strange beacon of human ambition in a sea of emptiness. It's beautiful in a haunting way. Like gold itself, its beauty hides its cost. The elders in the surrounding villages often say that the desert never forgets. They believe that everything taken from it will one day be reclaimed, that the sand will one day close over the pit, the wind will erase the roads, and the land will return to silence. Perhaps they're right, or perhaps Essakane will remain, a permanent mark of the age when humanity decided that even the most desolate corners of the world could be conquered. And yet, when you stand at the edge of the mine at dusk, it's hard not to feel something deeper. Awe, fear, pride, sorrow, all of it together. Because Essakane isn't just a mine, it's a mirror. It reflects the very nature of our species, our hunger for beauty, our craving for power, our endless need to dig deeper, no matter the cost. The wind rises again, sweeping across the pit, carrying dust and memory. It whispers through the camps, and across the dunes, where it will vanish into the horizon, the same horizon that once hid the first glint of gold. And somewhere in that endless expanse the earth waits, waiting for silence, waiting for rest, waiting for the day when the last machine stops and the desert finally exhales. Until then, Essakane continues to shine, not as a treasure, but as a lesson, that everything we desire comes at a cost, that gold may glitter forever, but the land that gives it life does not.